Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 829,280. TikTok next block. So a lot of things going on today. As I just turned this recorder on, I heard that Secretary Mayorkas did not get impeached, which I'm not surprised at all. I think the vote was like 216, 214. And I think a couple people, maybe it was like 4 or 5 rhinos or something like that voted for him not to get impeached. And then there's a couple no-shows or whatever. I just glanced at it for a second. And then you got Tucker Carlson, of course, over in Russia. He just did his interview with Putin, and he may be, by the time you're watching this, already released it. To me, that's going to be probably the biggest interview, views-wise, probably bigger than him and Donald Trump. And then you got Mayor Adams, New York City mayor. He's got a godlike complex or whatever, comparing himself to Jesus. And, you know, he's a big-time race hustler. And then you got woke mayor Brandon Johnson talking about he's a victim because he's got black children and a black wife. That's why he can't go to the to the border. And you got all kind of things going on, man. All kind of stuff, man. And, you know, I would love to just come on here and talk about Bitcoin and gold and silver and everything else, but I just can't, man. There's too much stuff going on. And of course, you know, this is a monetary or financial channel basically or whatever, but if you see the name of it, I'm Jerry Loves Freedom. Again, guys, I don't love freedom because I like Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin because I love freedom. I mean, it's as simple as that. And our freedoms are getting taken away. And I always say this: you gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready. This is insane for me not even to be surprised that Secretary Mayorkas didn't get impeached. And guys, listen again: if you're playing the Republican Democrat game, that just shows you right there it ain't just about that. It's not, because how can this be even close to be not voting? Everybody's saying he needs to go. The reason why is because Republicans want an open border as well. It ain't just Democrats. And now let me explain, because that may seem crazy because, and also too, a few Republicans got together and made a bill saying that Donald Trump is not an insurrectionist. And that was cool. They did that. That really was cool. And, you know, as Matt Gaetz made it, and then the girl, Alicia Stefani or whatever her name is, supposed to be maybe the next VP. They're basically saying, hey, we're tired of this. And there's only a very few rare Republicans and Democrats, not a lot of Democrats today, that are America first and are not captured and bought and paid for like prostitutes. So, again, Republicans are not the good guys. You know, everybody keeps thinking that because the Democratic Party is compromised now, they think that the Republicans are good. The Republicans do not want a closed border. They don't. All you got to do is go back to look at 2016 when Donald Trump tried to build a wall, and look how the Republicans fought against him. Now, I'm not saying all the Republicans, but a majority of them. There's a very small minority of Republicans that actually want the border closed. You got to understand what Republicans, or who they represent. They represent a lot of rich people, and a lot of rich people want cheap labor, okay? And also what Republicans want is they want to point the finger at the Democrats and saying, look, you guys are in charge. You're the president, you have the executive branch, and you have the Senate, and look at the open border. So they can just, instead of solving the problem, they can point at the person that's doing the problem. And they don't want a closed border, because trust me, if they wanted a closed border, it would be a lot more work done than this. And this stupid bill that they're getting ready to pass, and trust me, they're going to pass it, this pork bill that is supposedly supposed to close the border, because that's the number one issue in America right now. It ain't inflation. It ain't anything else. Inflation's up there. It's top 5. But the open border is the number one thing, because these kids are getting captured, and there's slavery going on, and people dying from fentanyl. And when I mean slavery, there are people that are slaves from the cartel or for the cartels. They're indentured servants, basically. And this is evil going on both sides. You know, and then the 26 or 25 Republican governors that came down there, that's cool and everything else. But the people in Congress and you know, they're just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And this is why I say we're in a cold civil war. We are in a cold civil war, ladies and gentlemen. We have an open border, and it's done on purpose by both sides. Joe Biden can close it anytime he wants to, and the Republicans can fight harder to try to close it, and they're not. Neither one of them are. Again, there's a small handful of people, and you'll see the ones on stage that's doing the insurrection bill, you know, the people from the Freedom Caucus and a few others. But other than that, and there's, like I said, there's a couple of good Democrats too out there. They'll be very hard to find. But again, man, learn about politics, get your house straight, understand how the world works and what's going on. Because I'm not even surprised by this stuff anymore. I know you guys aren't either. And I had a plan on, you know, making a Bitcoin video today, but I just can't. You know what I mean? And look at the mainstream media, what they're doing to Tucker. You think they want him to talk to Vladimir Putin? No, of course not. Why? Because that goes against the narrative. They want to control our thoughts and our brains, period. And that's how they control us, by controlling the narrative. And on this channel, I'm doing the best I can to break that narrative. And this is why I don't get a lot of views on YouTube, because I say a lot of the magic words that YouTube doesn't like. You know what happened in 2020, the 2020 election. And I'm just sitting around here going, what the heck, man? 2020, I'm telling you, I really woke up. Now, I've been waking up over the years before that, but once something really happens to you and you see people wearing masks and you see elections getting stolen in the country and in Arizona, and you see all this stuff that's going on one side of the aisle where people are burning down cities and another one doing this or not doing that, and then one gets in trouble and one doesn't, and one president's doing one thing and he's not getting in trouble, and the other one is not doing anything but he is getting in trouble. And you see the two-tier justice system, and you see the three-letter agencies and what's happening. Jerry Loves Freedom is the name of my channel, and I know you guys do too, and that's why you're here. We got to keep fighting for those said freedoms. But in the meantime, get your house together. Don't depend on anybody to help you but you. Stay strong physically, mentally, spiritually, and be the man of the house or the woman of the house or whatever your situation is. But know what's going on and try to inform your loved ones like their life depends on it, because it does. It really, really does. And a lot of people are waking up because of these people that are controlling the narrative, who have the mainstream media captured. If we break away from the narrative and nobody believes in it anymore, then guess what? We're not buying what they're selling us anymore. And they can't push the narrative on us anymore because we know it's a lie. But we have to wake our family and friends up. And that's a hard thing to do. I know that. But we got to keep fighting for that, because we're fighting for our freedoms, their freedoms, and the future generations' freedoms, and we got to keep going, all right? But in the meantime, while you're doing that, keep saving up, make as much or earn as much fiat currency as you can, mine it, make more than you spend, and then the rest save it. Because again, guys, you work your ass off, you work hard, make sure you have a nice savings account of cash, I believe, for the short term, but for the long term, there's a really good savings account that I think you should take a look at. It would be the best way to save. And to me, the only way to save is through Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.